Hey, what's going on YouTube? Marine X back at it again. Crucible Industries may be on the chopping block. Okay, I don't purport myself to be a steel expert, a knife expert. I just know whenever I get my hands on a well done, well-rounded steel or knife, that it kind of ingrains itself in my brain. I kind of remember and think about that type of stuff. Now, before we talk about what could be happening to Crucible Industries or Crucible Steel as we know it, it comes in a lot of different varieties and shapes and colors and taste. And okay, maybe not that type of stuff, but Crucible. It's a name that we associate with a well-done American-made steel, although its origins are European. But at the end of the day, tried and true, it's America to the bone for what we're used to expecting. So 1776, the same year that America, we got the freedom stuff here. So Naylor and Sanderson Steel Mill was established in Sheffield, England, to produce high-quality tool steels using the Crucible method. So the Crucible method was a method developed by these Englishmen. And in the 1800s, the Sanderson brothers exported increasing amounts of steel to America and established a steelmaking plant in Syracuse, New York. And then by 1876, the Sanderson Brothers and Steel Company established after Sanderson purchased Sweet Iron Works. So they purchased Sweet Iron Works in Syracuse. And then there you have the roots of Crucible, the steelmaking method. But I'm going to fast forward to what I think is the biggest ones. 2009, JP Industries Incorporated purchased the Crucible Specialty Metals Division in Gettys, or maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, Gettys, for $8 million and named it Crucible Industries LLC. They're a leader in the steelmaking method. They have some of the best steel makers in the world. It even says on the little sign when the employees go to work there every day, over 150 jobs are at stake. Here's where I think that the arc of the history of the company may be coming to a screeching halt. JP Industries Incorporated, and this may come down simply to dollars and cents. I don't know if it can be fixed at the administration level, if it has to be fixed through selling the company. I don't know what the solution will be. Before we fast forward to that, Crucible Steel, it is really good at taking raw inputs, whether it's iron or whatever else they use, having fantastic heat treatment, heat transfer, high purity resistance to chemicals and surfaces. And their steels, what I know for them best for is just not being really sticky. It's easy to clean their steels. It's easy to use. I think they have good heat treatments. I have some knives here on the table, which are Crucible Steel. And some of them, I think that one of the ones that are probably my favorite are any ones that are kind of the CPM 20CV blade steel. This is the TRM Shadow. But I think that one of the qualities of 20CV is its ability to have a level of resistance to stickiness, to chemicals, which I work around with a lot, and to having a good heat treatment. So a lot of people really are big fans of Crucible Steel here in the States. Now, I don't think it's a necessity. I think that some of the Chinese knife makers are doing a decent job. Bowler over there in Austria is doing a fantastic job with their Austrian steel. But I like to root for the home team. Okay, I enjoy rooting for the home team. And they've given out a warning that this spring, Crucible could be closing its doors and 158 folks could be out of a job if they are not able to find a seller. So what does that really mean? Because if they were purchased in 2009 for $8 million, I would imagine that they are significantly more valuable in 2024. And I don't know who could snatch them up. I don't know if it will be another knife or steel maker. There's American steel. There's a lot of steel makers that aren't in the knife game specifically that might have the opportunity to enter the knife world by buying Crucible. I don't want it to happen, but it can be bought by a knife company. But that doesn't make me feel the best to have that happen, because imagine, a Benchmade of the world, a Spyderco of the world, somebody with long dollars would buy Crucible and then kind of like buttonhole and make it exclusive to their knives. I don't know if that would be something that would be appropriate, but that might keep those jobs and keep it American, because I wouldn't want like a Bowler or a Chinese company to buy them and then, eventually move the jobs overseas, which I don't think would be practical, because the steel and all the raw materials I believe the raw materials are actually mined and sourced here in the States. So to move it overseas would make a lot of sense. But that's neither here nor there, because one of those companies could buy it to shut down competition by purchasing it. It's similar to I'm going to give you a video game analogy. Okay, everybody out there is not a gamer, but Call of Duty is probably one of the hottest first-person shooters in the world. I think it is the hottest first-person shooter in the world. When Activision was in the middle of negotiations to be purchased by Microsoft, PlayStation was all up in arms about it. Other big studios were all up in arms about it because the vision and the thought was, if Microsoft buys Call of Duty, the largest, biggest first-person shooter in the world, they're going to make it Microsoft exclusive. People that have PlayStations aren't going to be able to play it. If you have a PC, maybe you will, maybe you won't be able to play it, even though that's Microsoft. Maybe they make it only available on Xbox, and they were nervous about that. That's why if Crucible were to go the way of being sold to a knife company, it would be the same arguments. If Benchmade were to put up, let's say, pony up $50 million to buy Crucible, it will be a legit argument for Spyderco's of the world, for the Montana knife companies of the world, anyone else, Tactile Knife, whoever else in the past used Crucible steel in their knives, to be concerned that it won't be available and that their customers want that. So what does this really mean? I don't know if this is a broader look on the economy as a whole. You know, the economy has been recovering a little bit to almost pre-COVID conditions when it comes to inflation and to what the economy was, but it's not 100% there. So that's one indicator. Then there's competition. I don't think, and I don't know the market cap for Crucible steel versus other steels, but I don't know if cheaper competition is pushing them out the way. I know that a lot of knives that are rocking Crucible steel, I mean, just objectively are more expensive than Chinese knives and some Austrian knives. I mean, if you get yourself a M390 bladed knife, I could think of some knives that are coming from like Kubi that are using that decent knife with some good heat treatment that is significantly cheaper than a 20 CV or a CPM Magna Cut or anything like that. So what does this mean? What does this look like? I don't know, but I think you guys should do whatever it takes in regards to letting your voices be known that you want Crucible to stay around, whether that's supporting knife makers who use Crucible steel. So if you have the opportunity for your next knife purchase, instead of, buying it from another company, you might buy from a knife that uses Crucible steel. They also make stuff other than just, knives. And so if you any other products that are using the Crucible steel method or Crucible steel, maybe you can purchase that as well. The company itself is located in Syracuse, New York. So if you're a resident of Syracuse, maybe reach out to your senators. You got two of them, and voice what you think and how you feel about that. Even if you're not a resident there, it's less likely the senators there will respond to you if you don't live in a zip code, but you can always call and let your voices be heard. That's another way to do it as well. And just kind of advocate for something that you want to stay around, because when it's gone and the vacuum is created, the vacuum has to be filled by somebody and something. And I think I would prefer to have the devil I know versus the devil I don't know. And I'm not calling Crucible a devil, but what I'm saying is I know what their prices are now. I know what their quality is now. And if that vacuum gets filled with some Chinese made junk or another American company that has higher prices, I'm going to say, boy, I sure do miss me some good Crucible. But comment down below, what do you think? Crucible could be on its way out the door, which I would not want. If this is your first time stopping by, hit the subscribe button. I would love to have you part of the battalion. If this is not your first time stopping by, well, thank you once again for watching me run my grape. For everyone else, we'll speak soon.